Most young people are facing a crisis of education. There are over 13.2 million young children out of school. Young people are facing a crisis of employment, with almost about 14 million young people either underemployed or even unemployed. In a broad overview, how do you feel we can directly reverse this from being a challenge into an opportunity for Nigeria's social and economic prosperity?
As Nigerians, we need to define and clearly articulate what our values are. What are the values that matter to us? What are the values that drive us? Once we know what these values are, then we know how we design the policies, the plans that would drive this value and achieve them. One of the main ways to do this is through education. We are not teaching people how to be adaptable, how to think outside the box. We just follow the leader is the kind of education that we have in this country. And so when they are put in unfamiliar situations, unfamiliar circumstances, they crumble. They can't adapt. They can't reason. So for me, I think education is key, but the way we educate is something that we need to look at.
I believe from what we have done in our assessment at the Bridge Fellowship, one of the things we found out is that there's no deliberate attempt by the policymakers to invest into the education sector, into the human capital development sector for the young people. The system is just leaving the people to their fate. We have neglected the people for a very long time, the young people for a very long time. If you don't educate, for example, a child today, you are indirectly setting up a criminal tomorrow. You are indirectly setting up a hoodlum, what you're going to call a hoodlum tomorrow. So you need to, first of all, make that sector very attractive to young people. And how do you do that? Be deliberate.
Firstly, to the point of, as a Nigerian citizen, having a development plan from the day you're born, to getting educated, to linking you to a job when you graduate. That all comes together with an economic development plan too.
Right.
It can't be in isolation.
Yeah.
So what is Nigeria's trajectory for its economy? If today we are an agrarian economy, then everybody who's in the job market, or majority, should have the skills for agriculture. If in 10 years' time we want to be an industrial economy, people who are in the school now and graduating in 10 years should have skills for industrial and manufacturing. If in 20 years' time we're going to be a technology and service delivery economy, people who are being born today, when they get into school, should be learning the skills to power that economy. So our education system is just stagnant. It's just there, doing what it's been doing for the past how many decades. You need to actually diagnose the problem. Don't assume you know what the problem is.
Right.
Go and diagnose it. Once you know what the problem is, then you can start designing the policies that will solve these problems. So I think everybody needs to come to the table with a clean mind, without preconceptions and without any sort of baggage that divides us. And let us identify, and let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's diagnose what the problem is, and from there we can start designing policies to solve the problem. Second issue, we need data. We need data in this country. Without data, what are you planning? How do you know your plan is going to work? How do you test? How do you iterate? How do you experiment? What are the inputs to this plan that you're doing, and where did you get those inputs from? You need proper, verifiable data.
Look, when you are talking about tribalism, who are the ones encouraging tribalism in Nigeria? Is it the young people? No, it is not the young people. Who is making a lot of appointments from one section of the country? Are they the young people? It's not the young people. It is the ruling class. And I believe they are doing these things deliberately, because the more divided a people is, the easier it is for you to control them. And that's exactly what is happening. So you need
and
to...
if we're busy fighting ourselves, we're not fighting government.
No, that is the issue. So right now, we need to separate what the government is doing from what the young people are doing. The young people are trying to fuse themselves together, and Twitter is the best place to do that. And that is why you see a lot of threats, even on the side of the government. You see all manners of, okay, we want to control this, we want to control that, we want to control that, because they are really saying that if these guys can actually come together, we are in trouble. So you can see all of these things. So if you look at it critically, it is the government, it is the ruling class that is dividing the nation.